You know, if you're a plant parent, you absolutely know the deep, dark guilt of finding one of your green friends looking, well, a little worse for wear. But hey, if you've got a jade plant that's struggling right now, I actually have some incredibly surprising news for you. Most people do not kill their jade plant because they forget about it. It's literally the exact opposite. So if you're sitting there wondering what on earth you're doing wrong, let me just validate your frustration right out of the gate. You do not kill these plants by neglecting them.
In fact, there's a really famous saying in the houseplant world. They kill it because they love it too much. And wow, is that a genuine tragedy. Every single year, thousands of jade plants die from this one incredibly simple mistake. Consider this your official intervention. You know the drill. We constantly hover. We check on them. We give them a little splash of water every time we walk by because we genuinely think we're helping. Well, by the end of our time together today, you're going to know exactly why this over-loving approach is totally fatal and precisely how you can avoid it.
Section 1. The Jade's Secret Anatomy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely shifts the blame from you directly to the plant's literal biology.
At first glance, sure, a jade plant looks like just another normal houseplant. But to really understand how to care for it, we have to look a bit closer at its anatomy. Notice those beautiful, thick, glossy leaves? Yeah, those aren't just for show. They are actually built-in water storage tanks. Your jade plant is carrying its very own emergency water supply at all times. It's an evolutionary trick, and it's exactly why it can survive for weeks without a single drop of water from you. Pretty smart, right? So when you're pouring water into its pot every few days, you're actually overwhelming a system that was specifically designed to be incredibly self-sufficient. Section 2. Essential Elements, Sun and Soil. Let's look at the absolute non-negotiables if you want your plant looking like a beautiful miniature tree. Now that we understand the plant's built-in water reserves, I want you to focus directly on this number right here, 4 to 6. That is the exact number of hours of bright sunlight your jade plant needs every single day. Lots of sunlight is the secret ingredient here, folks. It is not a suggestion. It's an absolute requirement for that tight, vibrant look we all want. If you happen to ignore that 4 to 6 hour rule, you're going to encounter a very specific, very frustrating botanical problem: leggy growth. This happens when a plant isn't getting what it needs, so it literally starts stretching its stems out toward the nearest window in a desperate search for more sun. And trust me, as the source material makes perfectly clear, it is not a good look. It completely ruins the structural integrity of the jade.
So the crucial point is really contrasting our instincts with reality, which brings us to the mistake that kills most jade plants: overwatering. Look at the left side there. Moist or slightly damp soil. That is incredibly dangerous territory. Now look at the right side. Bone-dry soil. That is perfect. Jade plants absolutely prefer dry soil. So before you even think about watering your plant, just check the soil first. If it feels moist at all, even a tiny bit, wait a little longer. Your plant will seriously thank you for it.
To really hammer this home, think about this quote. Think about wearing a raincoat all day, every day. I mean, imagine how trapped, sweaty, and just totally suffocated you'd feel. That visceral image is exactly how your jade plant's roots feel when they are trapped in moist, poorly draining soil. They are literally suffocating in a raincoat they cannot take off. To completely prevent that raincoat effect, you need the right physical tools. It's a really short but entirely mandatory checklist. First, jade plants absolutely love fast-draining succulent soil. Second, you absolutely must use a pot with drainage holes. It is essential. Without proper drainage, you are taking a massive, totally unnecessary risk with your plant's life. Section 3. Decoding your plant's language. You can officially stop guessing, because your plant's leaves actually tell you the whole story. The really good news in all of this is that you never actually have to guess what your plant is feeling. Your jade plant will literally tell you when something is wrong. And here is your ultimate translation matrix. You can honestly use this as a cheat sheet. Look at the first row. If you see yellow leaves, it almost always means there's way too much water. Move down a row, wrinkled leaves, well, that often means it has finally exhausted its internal tanks and really needs a drink. And looking at the bottom row, those long stretched stems we talked about earlier are a loud and clear sign it's craving more sunlight. Stop guessing. The leaves tell you the whole shebang. Section 4. Free plants through propagation. Let's move to the next part and see how this builds into something super rewarding. Once you master the basics of keeping your plant happy, you get to do the really fun part. You can actually get more jade plants completely for free. This high-reward magic trick of multiplying your plant happens in 4 surprisingly simple steps. First, all you need is 1 healthy leaf. Second, just let it dry out for a few days. Third, place it gently on top of some soil. And fourth, just be patient. After a few weeks,
Tiny little roots will begin to appear right out of that leaf, and then comes entirely new growth. One single leaf can become a brand new jade plant. Nature is pretty unbelievable when you just step back and let it do its thing.
So let's wrap this all up into our core thesis. What is the ultimate secret to growing a healthy, gorgeous jade plant? Well, it boils down to these 4 straightforward rules. Give it plenty of sunlight, remember that 4 to 6 hour rule? Let the soil dry completely between waterings, avoid overwatering at literally all costs. And finally, leave it alone. Sometimes the absolute best plant care is just doing less.
Which brings us to our final question for you to ponder. Are you ready to step back and let your plant thrive by simply doing less? It takes a massive cognitive flip to embrace this kind of benign neglect, but I promise you, your jade plant is begging you to try it. Stop loving your plant to death, put the watering can down, and watch it flourish. If you enjoyed this explainer, take this knowledge, apply it, and really enjoy your beautiful, thriving miniature tree.